Ladies and gentlemen, imagine for a moment standing at the edge of a vast ocean. The waves crashing before you are like the thoughts running through your mind, relentless, constant, sometimes calm, often chaotic. But you are not the waves, you are the vast, infinite depth beneath them. For much of our lives we've been told a story that who we are is built from our thoughts, our experiences, and the roles we play. We become the student, the parent, the achiever, the struggler. But let me ask you this, who are you when the thoughts quiet down? Who are you beyond the stories your mind insists on replaying? This thought-based identity is an illusion. It's a construct built by the ego, piecing together moments from the past and projecting them into the future. It whispers you are your failures, your successes, your fears. But that's not true. That's never been true. The beauty of human potential lies in our ability to recognize this illusion, transcend it. And how do we do this? By stepping into presence. Not tomorrow, not when life calms down, but now, this very moment. Presence is the doorway to your true self, the self that isn't confined by the mind. When you anchor yourself in the now, the stories lose their grip. Suddenly you realize, I am not my thoughts. I am the awareness observing them. This awareness is your power. It's where creativity, love, and freedom flow from. It's where you reconnect with the infinite intelligence of the universe, a force so much greater than any mental construct could ever grasp. So today I challenge you, stop identifying with the surface waves of your mind. Dive deeper. Become the witness of your thoughts rather than their captive. Feel the vastness of your true being, which exists beyond thought. This is not just liberation, it's transformation. It's where life stops being something you react to and becomes a canvas you co-create with the universe. You are not the thoughts that race through your mind. You are the space, the silence, and the presence within which they rise and fall. That is your true essence. That is your unshakable self. The mind is a remarkable tool, capable of shaping realities, solving complex problems, and weaving dreams into existence. Yet, this very tool often becomes the architect of an illusion, the illusion of who we believe we are. Most people live their lives tethered to a narrative built entirely from thought. These narratives, composed of memories, opinions, judgments, and projections, form what we call a thought-based identity. This identity is a story we've unknowingly authored, starting from childhood. It is a mosaic of labels we've absorbed to know: student, daughter, son, student, achiever, failure, kind, unworthy. These labels often come from societal conditioning, parental influences, or the repetition of inner thoughts. Over time we mistake this mental framework for the truth of who we are. But let's pause and reflect. Can a thought truly define the depth of your being? A thought is fleeting, an electrical impulse passing through the mind. Yet we cling to these thoughts, stringing them together into an identity that feels permanent and real. We say, I am not good enough, or I am successful, and act as though these statements are irrefutable facts. But they're not. They are echoes of past experiences and future fears projected onto the canvas of the present. This illusion binds us. It creates a false sense of self, constantly seeking validation, control, or fulfillment through external circumstances. When we succeed, we feel momentarily inflated. When we fail, we feel deflated. This roller coaster of emotions is not who we are, it's the story of the thought-based self reacting to the world. Recognizing this illusion is the first step toward liberation. When you pause and observe your thoughts without attaching to them, something extraordinary happens, a gap emerges. In that gap, you realize you are not the thinker, you are the observer. The thoughts are clouds passing by, and you are the sky. This awareness shifts everything. Suddenly, the narrative loses its grip. The roles and labels that once seemed so important start to dissolve. You realize that the self constructed from thoughts is no more real than a shadow. It cannot exist without the light of your attention. When this truth begins to settle in, you start to taste freedom. You no longer need to defend your identity or cling to a fixed story. You can simply be present, expansive and unattached. In this state, the mind serves its rightful purpose as a tool, not a master. The illusion of thought-based identity isn't something to fear, it's something to transcend. It invites you to step out of the limited confines of the mind and into the infinite space of pure being. In this space, you are no longer defined by what you think or what others think of you. You are the awareness behind it all, the essence that cannot be labeled or limited. To awaken from this illusion is to reclaim your power. It is to see that you are not a static story, but an ever-unfolding presence. And in that presence lies the freedom to create a life that reflects your true nature, unbound by the chains of thought. There is a profound power that exists within you, a power so transformative and liberating that it can dissolve the illusions of the mind in an instant. This power is presence. It is the unshakable awareness that exists beneath the surface of thought, an anchor that holds you steady in the ever-changing tides of life. To break free from the grip of thought-based identity, you must first recognize that the mind is a relentless storyteller. It drags you into the past, replaying old memories and regrets, or thrusts you into the future, projecting fears and desires. Rarely does it allow you to fully inhabit the now, the only moment where life truly unfolds. Presence is the antidote to this mental noise, a doorway to liberation. When you are present, you are no longer consumed by the mind's endless chatter. You begin to notice that thoughts arise and fade, like clouds passing across the sky. They lose their authority over you because you see them for what they are, fleeting mental phenomena, not the essence of who you are. This shift in awareness is transformative. Suddenly, the weight of judgment, worry, and self-criticism begins to lift. You realize that these thoughts have no power except the power you give them. Presence isn't something you achieve by force, it's something you allow. It's not about silencing the mind, but stepping into the space where you can observe it without attachment. Imagine standing on the bank of a river, watching the current flow by. The river represents your thoughts, emotions, and experiences. Presence is the stillness of the observer, the one who watches without being swept away. This state of being connects you to the essence of life itself. When you are present, you experience reality with a clarity and vibrancy that is impossible when you are trapped in thought. Colors seem brighter, sounds richer, and even the simplest moments feel imbued with meaning. You become attuned to the rhythm of life, the ebb and flow of each moment, and in doing so you find a peace that cannot be disturbed. Breaking free through presence also means reclaiming your creative power. When you are caught in the web of thought-based identity, your actions are often reactive, driven by fear, habit, or societal expectations. But in presence, you tap into a deeper intelligence of wisdom that is not bound by logic or ego. From this space, your choices become aligned with your true self, not the false self constructed by the mind. Presence is the bridge between you and your infinite potential. It frees you from the need to seek validation, approval, or worthiness outside of yourself. In presence, you realize you already are enough. You are not defined by your past, your accomplishments, or your failures. You are the awareness that witnesses it all, untouched and whole. This journey into presence is not about perfection. The mind will still wander, thoughts will still arise, but every time you gently return to the now, you strengthen your connection to this deeper state of being. It is a practice, a daily invitation to step out of the noise and into the silence where your true self resides. Breaking free through presence is the ultimate act of self-liberation. It is a reminder that you are not a prisoner of your mind, but the master of your experience. In presence, you find the courage to let go of the stories that no longer serve you and embrace the infinite possibilities of the present moment. And in doing so, you awaken to a life that is not only lived but truly felt. There is a space within you, a still, silent presence that exists beyond the noise of the mind and the chaos of the external world. It is not something you can create, for it has always been there. This space is your true essence, untouched by the passing storms of life. To embrace it is to come home to yourself, to a place of profound peace and unshakable wholeness. In our daily lives, we often identify with the roles we play, the labels we wear, and the stories we carry. We chase achievements, seek approval, and try to fill the void with external accomplishments. Yet no matter how much we achieve or accumulate, the feeling of incompleteness lingers. This is because we are looking outward for something that can only be found within the space of pure being. Pure being is not a concept to be understood intellectually. It is a state of presence, a deep sense of aliveness that emerges when you love the need to define yourself through thought. It is not tied to your successes or failures, your past or your future. It simply is. This state transcends the mind's constant search for meaning, because it is the source of all meaning itself. When you embrace the space of pure being, you step out of the illusion of separateness and into the awareness of unity. You begin to sense that you are not a fragment in the universe, but an integral part of its infinite wholeness. This realization doesn't come through effort or struggle, it arises naturally when you surrender the mental constructs that confine you. To experience this space, start by becoming deeply present. Feel the stillness beneath your thoughts, the silence between your breaths. Notice that even when the mind is active, there is a background of peace that remains unaffected. This is the space of being a presence so vast and infinite that it cannot be captured by words or thoughts. In this space, the need to prove yourself fades away. You no longer define your worth by external measures because you recognize that your value is intrinsic. You are enough just as you are. This doesn't mean you stop striving or growing. It means that your actions come from a place of fullness, not lack. You create not to complete yourself, but as an expression of the completeness that already exists within you. Embracing the space of pure being also transforms your relationships. When you connect with others from this space, you no longer seek to control, judge, or fix them. You see them as they truly are, expressions of the same infinite essence that flows through you. This creates a bond that is rooted in love and presence, not in fear or attachment. Life itself becomes a meditation when you live from this space. Each moment, no matter how ordinary, is filled with beauty and significance. The simple act of being alive becomes a profound experience. Challenges no longer feel insurmountable because you face them from a foundation of inner stillness and strength. To embrace the space of pure being is to step into your true power. It is the realization that you are not the roles you play or the stories you tell. You are the awareness behind it all, infinite and eternal. This awareness is not something you need to attain. It is something you need to remember. It has been with you all along, patiently waiting for you to turn inward and recognize its presence. In this recognition you find freedom. You are no longer a prisoner of the mind or the fleeting circumstances of life. You are the space within which life unfolds, the pure being that holds it all. This is your true nature. And when you live from this place, you don't just exist, you thrive. You shine with the light of your own being, illuminating the path not just for yourself, but for all those around you. In the end, the journey we've explored is not about becoming someone new, but remembering who you've always been. You are not the thoughts that fill your mind, the stories of your past, or the labels you wear. You are the awareness behind them, the infinite, unshakable presence that exists beyond thought, beyond time, and beyond the ever-changing circumstances of life. To break free from the illusion of thought-based identity you must anchor yourself in the present where the truth of your being resides. Through presence, you dissolve the grip of the mind and open the door to the vastness of your essence. And when you embrace the space of pure being, you step into a state of wholeness that cannot be shaken by the storms of the external world. This is where transformation begins, not from striving to change who you are, but from recognizing the infinite potential of the self that already exists. When you live from this space, life stops being a struggle and becomes an unfolding, a co-creation with the universe itself. So as you leave here today, remember, you are not the waves on the surface, you are the depth beneath them. You are not the noise of the mind, you are the stillness that holds it. And in that stillness lies all the freedom, peace and power you could ever seek. Step into that awareness, live from that truth, and watch as your life transforms in ways beyond what the mind could ever imagine. Thank you.